Welcome everybody, it is Unstoppable Stelezzi with yet another Age of Empires 3 Definitive Edition Casa game. So, instead of Deathmatch, today we actually got a bit of a blast from the past. We got a GKShaman 1 vs 1 casting. Well, I got one question. Where has this man been? You know, it's been quite a while since we've seen him play, you know what I mean? We used to see him all the time doing, you know, his cowboy shenanigans. You see, this player here, he loves his John Wayne style Happy Thanksgiving Pilgrims cowboy rushes, you know. He's either spamming out gunslingers, owl shoots, or just the plain old cowboys from his saloon. So we're probably going to see more of that today if I can guess, you know, the past games I've seen with them. But before we see that, and before we see this cowboy shootout, let's see what the map has to offer for this gameplay. So, it's that map again where you have, you know, the river that takes sort of this C-style shape across the map here. Of course, you got little fords here that you can cross, but as you can imagine, there's little choke points if you decide to put a TC over here. I don't think we're going to see a TC over here because, you know, GKShaman is a very direct player that likes to go right into the action and usually go up to Fortress Age, you know, put his blockhouses down and get bear hunting, you know. He knows how to scale things pretty well, but as you know, our opponent here is Portuguese, and I certainly see Portuguese potentially putting a TC up here. So, you know, they might prove me wrong if we start to see Portuguese going widespread. But anyways, let's get started, you know, don't want to take too much time. Alright, so, United States. This is probably one of the more, I would say, versatile civs in the Definitive Edition game. Unlike other civs, they get the ability to actually gain 2 additional cards into their deck depending on the age up they go with. See, instead of politicians, they get states, right? You can go Massachusetts, California, Connecticut, Rhode Island, even Vermont. So, you know, really a wide variety of states. The thing about United States and their other related civ Mexico is their decks start out, you know, pretty meager, right? They look pretty small. This is not a lot of cards. But, the fact of the matter is, by the time you get to Imperial Age, you actually have more cards than a standard deck, right? You start out with only, what, like 21 cards, and then I think you work up to, what, 29 cards by Imperial Age, so it actually ends up working out really good for you. On the other side, though, you got Portugal. Now, Portugal in the 1 vs 1, they got a pretty good advantage because of one main feature. That being, with every age up, they get a covered wagon, so one more town center to add to the stack, really. And that's really good because, of course, you can have multiple settler queues going on at once, which means double the economy, and then once you hit Fortress Age, then it's triple the economy, right? Because you got 3 town centers working. And then, of course, you get 4 in Industrial, 5 in Imperial. So, keeps going on and on and on. And they're going to have settlers a lot quicker than you do. Only vulnerability is, of course, the early game, where sometimes they got a bit of a soft belly. And I think that's probably when we're going to start to see these United States Cowboys come in and doing their work. But we'll see. We'll see what Shaman's plan is today. He did get a trading post right now. This is pretty significant because this means a lot of strong Highlander gameplay with the United States Highlander card, the Scottish Immigrants, because for every trading post, meeting house, and saloon you got, it basically ships 1 more Highlander into that card shipment, so I think maybe he's moving in that direction for sort of like the mid to early mid game, I would say. We'll see though. Well, yeah, I mean, German Cowboys again. I think this is the last deck I saw him go with. The main idea is go up with capitalism first, get that coin trickle going, then you get advanced saloon. This basically allows you to put up multiple saloons instead of 1. And as you know, saloons not only allow you to train those infamous outlaws that we know Shaman loves to make, but they also trickle coin as well. So basically it turns into a money farm for this Shaman over here. So, yeah. And then after that, you usually would send the Dutch immigrants. Yeah, this is a bank wagon. It has a pretty strong trickle with it, so in general, really good coin economy. That's sort of the idea when you're going with the cowboy build. And then, of course, you get Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, yet another coin trickle. So, really a lot of capitalism, a lot of money, right? A lot of money coming through your veins when you're going with this build. That's because one of the cards for Pennsylvania actually lets you acquire a coin trickle later. I think it has a bit of a trade-off where it sort of offsets, I think, your mining rate or something, but, you know, that just makes it easier for you, because then you can take these settlers and put them onto hunting, onto wood chopping, and then eventually you might even be able to outboom the Portuguese, you know, depending on what your Fortress Age game is. Yeah, and certainly you can also make the settler wagons with the German Cowboys deck because of the German immigrants. And the settler wagons, as you know, they gather really well. Really good. Ah, we see the House of Vass over here. I wonder if Shaman's going to grab this native site. That would add one more TP for only about 100 food and 100 wood. That he can get another Highlander from this card here, Scottish Immigrants. Scottish Immigrants, this is a very good power card you can go with that synergizes really well with the Cowboys, because you have a bank going, you have multiple saloons going, you get, of course, multiple coin trickles from Pennsylvania and from capitalism. So, yeah, I mean, if you want to start out with Cowboys and then send this afterwards, once it starts to value up for you, yeah, it's really good. Now, this is the card I was talking about, Philadelphia Convention. This is the one that basically gives you a meeting house, and that meeting house gains technologies, one of them being that coin trickle I talked about. Other things it gives you sharpshooters, it gives you carbine cavalry. Units you normally get in Fortress Age, but now that you get it in an age early, you can actually use that to boost up your army as well. So you can stay in Age 2 a little bit longer. Get some good fighting in. Now, this is another great part of the United States. They have a really strong access to Minutemen. Unlike most civs that can only send Minutemen once from their town center, United States, they could send their Minutemen out multiple times. They still lose their hit points, though, unless you send a card later that turns them into Marines, which, you know, buffs up their stats. Also makes them stop losing their HP and makes them, like, really strong. I don't think we're gonna see them today based on the deck, but still, Minutemen are a really nice addition to your army, since even though they end up becoming a 1 HP unit, or what appears to be your oh, interesting. I didn't know that the Minutemen preserve half their HP. It's kind of interesting. I used to always think that they only, well, it went down to like 1 HP for some reason, but it's actually pretty good, you know. Even I learned something today about D. I haven't played a lot of DE lately since I've been doing more of the Wars of Liberty casting lately, also picking up some other games like Left 4 Dead and Stick Empires, so if you really like those games, check out my channel. You know, I'm starting to do those a little bit more as well. But anyways, getting back to Shaman, we see some gunslingers. It looks like the Cowboys have already started to come out of the corral here and they're ready to get shooting. How about Portugal though? Like, where did they put the town center? So the town center is close to the other one. They're playing more defensively here. We also see fishing boom. Right, because I remember when I was looking at the Portuguese before, I saw schooners being sent. That's usually a good flag that you're going to see fishing ships being utilized. Because see, when you send schooners, the fishing ships end up becoming a lot cheaper. They become about 50 food. 50 wood, actually. So, think of it this way. A settler costs about 100 food. Now, if you switch that over to wood, you could have 2 fishing boats for every 1 settler, if settlers cost wood. Of course, Indian villagers cost wood, so yeah, that's sort of where you can scale that mathematically, I guess. Oh wow, look at this treasure. 90 food. Ooh, pretty good. Pretty good. You know, USA could definitely make good use of that, you know. They're so busy racking up all the coin that, you know, sometimes food can also be a good resource to have. It certainly helps them get to that age up that they really want. because that's when USA really starts to take off with the Russian America Company. That card ends up allowing you to hunt a lot faster and gives you some blockhouses, which, you know, aids in the aggressive capabilities of the USA. Now we see Virginia General Assembly ships one state capital wagon and makes the next upgrade free. Of course, Spies isn't included in that for obvious reasons, or Blockade. Yeah, imagine if you could get free Blockade in, like, age 3. Total cancer. You know, nightmares of the old Confederate immigrant ability from Wars of Liberty, right? Yeah, I've done that. I did that a couple of times back then, where I would start to initiate a fast Imperial Age and then blockade everyone by like 20 minutes into the game when it was an 8-player free-for-all. Yeah, everybody tries to kill you after you do that, so don't try that at home, kids. You know, you won't live to tell the tale. Yeah. But anyways, we see a state capital coming up here. We also see some Portuguese hussars looking to do some pressure and some raiding here. Yeah, I mean, these hussars can certainly be good against, like, owl shoots, but against things like the gunslinger or the cowboy, they're probably going to fall behind pretty much. But we do see some crossbowmen, some musketeers, so we see a good variety of units, you know what I mean? It's not like Portugal is committing to one unit type, and that's sort of good and sort of bad, you know? They're not really tied down to one particular strategy, but at the same time, if they realize they're going to be dealing with some gunslingers, crossbowmen, good answer for that. Musketeers, average answer to that. Hussars, bad answer to that. So some of the units are kind of going to be wasted, some of them not. Now, what we see now is rolling artillery. This is that very nasty card that the United States gets. It starts out allowing you to ship in 3 Gatling guns, 3 rapid-fire pieces of artillery. Who ever thought of that, you know? It's also an infinite shipment, but... Oh, wait a second, we see a fight here. I'll finish that thought later. Right now, hussars going for the attack right now. Crossbowmen trying to aim down these infantry one by one. Oh, the Minutemen going in the melee right now. Alright, so these Minutemen are going to get taken out. We still see some hussars left. Ah, they're going to take down the sharpshooters too. Oh, okay. Alright. USA, though, going for Industrial Age to California. A very gold-centric option. That's going to be pretty interesting to see, you know. I think Portugal's being a bit bamboozled here. They're thinking, oh, yay, I just beat his, army. That means I'm winning. No, my friend, no, you're not. You know, your opponent here is going up to Industrial Age, which means a lot of bad things might be coming your way. You might get some heavy cannons, you might get some Magyar Hussars from this card. You really don't know what's going to happen just yet. So I kind of predicted it. Now a Portugal town center is going to deploy on this little island area over here. Very interesting. That's the one option you get with Portugal, you know. You can build your town centers very close and sort of turtle up. Or if you're feeling confident, you can put one of your TCs really far away in an unknown land that you normally wouldn't put in. And that gives you access to new meat, new money, new wood. Of course, you run the risk of that getting singled down and taken out, but I think for the sake of this match, I don't think this town center is going to be targeted. It's going to be more at the throat down here. But you never know. You never know. You never can be too safe. What's the resources of Portugal right now? Okay, so Portugal, like I said before, their resources started out kind of meager at the start, when they're just starting to get their settler queues up. But as the match goes on, as the 3 settler queues really starts to work in the Fortress Age, and possibly even the 4 villager queue in the Industrial Age, that's when you start to see Portuguese resources getting way out of control. Now I think it's being propped up a little bit more thanks to the fishing ship boom with schooners that they invested in as well. That definitely helped. But anyways, now we're starting to see the United States really starting to work towards an offensive strategy. See, they've sort of taken the midpoint here with the blockhouses, also 2 town centers. So think of this like a little phalanx of buildings here. That's going to make it really hard to push out of if you're the Portuguese. Now we see sharpshooters being trained. There's a very long-range skirmishers for the United States. Also, the Gatling guns from rolling artillery are still here to stay. What's this technology? California Gold Rush. Of course, that's what California's known for. Ships 1 gold prospector, town centers now instead of automatically spawn settlers for free. Oh wow, so these turn into Ottoman town centers, right? Wow, that's pretty insane. It kind of reminds me of Goa migration for Wars of Liberty's Ethiopia, right? You got settlers queuing up and you got the ones coming out for free. Yeah, that must be pretty powerful because you can save up on a lot of your food costs then. Armored Pistoliers. That's not a cowboy, that's a medieval knight. Well, it's sort of like a cowboy because he has a pistol, but, you know, instead of a little Bowie knife, he has a big sword. That should be kind of interesting, you know. I like these mercenaries quite a bit. They actually have a bit of splash in their range attack. They also have really good hand armor, too, so a bit of a different experience for mercenaries, you know. Sort of like cowboys and sort of like knights. Also, we see the heavy cannon shipping in. Sort of that mega punch artillery unit that the United States really needs to siege their way into the Portuguese. Oh no, though! We see culverins coming in for Portugal. Do they know something that we don't, folks? This is very bad, you know. If they can use these culverins effectively, especially with the help of the goons, they might be able to survive these heavy cannons. Maybe. Now, if you're Portugal, I would prefer that if you had a little bit more culverins than that, but I don't think they know exactly how much arty their opponent has yet. Now they do, because they have their outpost right here as sort of like a warning beacon of things to come. Oh, great! Excellent! Excellent work! You're going to take one of those out. Now you need to take the Gatling's guns out, because these are the easier targets. These are the more low-hanging fruits to go after. Can you take these ones out, though? Unfortunately, no. The eyes were not on the prize, so that's sort of a done deal. But another culverin is arriving, so can this one do the work? Yeah, yep, perfect. Excelente. Very good. Now you sort of have to retreat some of your castadors now, sort of move your way back. And now this culverin's going to have to roll up a little bit and maybe try to get this one, maybe, I don't know. I don't think you can get this one safely, because you got these sharpshooters working on. Oh, nope, nope. Way too much fire, you know, even for that really high pierce armor the cans get, just not enough to get there, you know. Very unfortunate. But can Portugal still survive? Maybe. Maybe they can, maybe they don't. Well, it looks like maybe no. But we'll see, we'll see. We do see the whale oil coming in. What? Why are you getting this? There's no whales on this map, is there? It's the heart of Europe, you know? It's not on the ocean. You're not going to find whales in there. Oh my... Did he actually get that car? Wow. Wow. The man does not know the map, folks. Wow. That is the biggest blunder of the night, folks. Oh. A car that doesn't even do anything. Like, why are you sipping so hard, man? Like, that. Wow. Wow, Portugal. Unreal. Unreal. Well, at least I got the heavy cannon down. Like, that was job number one. Like, if you couldn't do that job, yeah, it'd be done for you. It'd be a done deal. It might still be a done deal. We have to see. We have to see how these units do. You know, castadors compared to sharpshooters, they have better armor, you know. They actually have, well, they have a little bit less HP, but their armor's a little bit better. In terms of damage output, well, it's actually, their rate of fire is actually the same. Castadors have slightly less. A lot of math, you know, a lot of math. They're actually pretty close to each other, I think, in terms of stats overall. What's going on over here? We see a Minutemen attack on this outpost. So, is he aware that there's a town center on this side of the land over here? That could certainly become a raiding target next if Portugal's not careful. Now we see the Castadors engaging with the sharpshooters. Stats are relatively close to each other, but not the same. I mean, I'm not going to go over the math again, but you kind of get the idea here. Like, look at yourself. HP, armor, attack, quite similar. Yeah. Now, what's Portugal going to do next? So, they're actually going to ship in some more Castadors just to get those numbers up. Man, I wish they didn't send this card. Man, I wish they didn't send this card. That was like a really bad blunder. Now, what I find interesting is they actually got rid of all their... Well, you know why? You know why? You know why they got rid of their fishing ships? Because you got this fort here, and the fishing ships they don't have legs, you know, it's not the Flintstones. You can't just have the settlers stick their big giant feet through the wooden planks and start walking along this fort here into the other body. So, once you eat up all the fish in this part of the river, you basically have wasted units at this point. Really sucks that you don't have, you know, fishing traps like you do in AoE 2. Otherwise, you'd be able to continue using them. But, you know, that's the unfortunate thing about fish booms. You really need to make sure that the map is worth it to do it on. Right? Or at least you limit the numbers of the fishing ships you get. Because as you see here, you know, they basically blundered themselves pretty badly by going for sort of a strategy that did not favor the map. And that's why geography matters. Geography really matters. But before we talk more about that, let's see this next engagement that's going to go on. So, mostly Castadors, Portuguese Dragoons, sort of the bread and butter of the Civ, going up against the mercenaries. Here are the armored pistoleros. They got about 45 damage, they got some splash, their hand attack is anti-cav. And again, look at that armor, that hack armor, 60%. That means that over half the damage they receive in melee is negated. That is some good stuff. That's some really good stuff. So yeah, we're going to have to see these Dragoons move in the back of the Castadors, or else they're going to start getting targeted by the sharpshooters. Culverins coming in, but no cannons to counter. What are these Culverins going to do here? They're going to do a little bit of damage, but as far as doing critical damage, nope, nope, nope. Nothing. Hussars coming in now. Brutal. Look at these Hussars cutting through the drag. Yep, GG. I mean, look at the resource count here. United States just did way better with their economics. Starting out with the big coin focus, then moving towards factories, getting their settlers onto the hunts with an improved rate. Just a really good management of economy here. Portugal, you know, unfortunately, they went for a fishing boom that, you know, map was really bad for it. And for some reason, this card was sent, even though there's no whales on the map. I'm going to look at the post-game just so we can see sort of the numbers and crunch them a bit. So, yeah, it looks like Portugal actually still had more resources at the end of the game. The food was really high because they were going for fish. The coin, though, down to about half that of your opponent because the cowboy strategy gets you a lot of coin. Also double the wood as well. But in terms of military, this is where things really drop off for Portugal. This is where things like the cowboys, the mercenaries do really good, is getting lots and lots of casualties, and because of their charge attacks, because of their special stats and their high stats. So yeah, you really need to pick your strategies well, folks, when you're playing on different maps, playing against different civs. Just make sure that your strategy is going to win out in the end. But otherwise, a very good game. Hopefully everyone enjoyed it. It's nice to see a bit of a refresher in sort of a normal 1 versus 1 game again. You know, GKShaman, we love his gameplay. Keep on playing, man. We'll see you next time. And if you have any recordings for me, send them my way. You know, I'll happily cast any of your stuff that you send me. Anyways, folks, this is this one. See you in the next one, whether it's DM or Supremacy or anything. Signing off now.